you put out this young adult fantasy novel, and what is the journey of actually making the book to getting it in front of people look like for you?
From like starting to write it, or when the manuscript was done. So
I'm going to be honest, I'm more concerned you've got a book and I want people to read it now. Because that's the harder part. I'm going to be honest, there's lots of places anyone can go to write a book right now. One of my favorites is Boost with a Book. One of my friends runs it. But that'll help you make the book. Now what do we do with the book once we got it?
no, that's fair. So I definitely was one of those people that was after I wrote it, I was like, oh, what do I do now? Okay. And then so what I did do is I guess just a lot of research. So there are a lot of self-published authors out there right now that you can just research, you see what they did. I examined their social media. A lot of them have YouTube channels, and like I took bits and pieces of that and structured my own thing. So after I wrote it, after it was edited, so I got the editors, book formatting, cover art, all the things. I started. I announced that I think it was being edited, but I announced the release date. I blasted it on all of my social media. I started I started doing posts, like releasing the cover art. I did a cover reveal, cover art, just being like, oh, like this is what the book is about. The whole pre-order thing, releasing that, pictures of that, did a whole countdown. just trying to develop hype on the social media side. And then in the real world side, I made sure to try and tell everyone I knew, which for me, it was actually pretty awkward. But I've heard other writers say that, like,
Hey, did you know I'm a writer?
Yeah.
Working on a novel. Woodshed
slip that in there.
I know I've been supposed to be doing this job for the past couple of years, but really I've been writing a novel
Yeah.
on lunch break, maybe while I'm supposed to actually be working.
But yeah, so it's like finding ways to slip that in there, which actually I have found word of mouth has been really great, because when you tell people that you're a writer and then you're like, no, I have a book actually coming out, a lot of times people are really excited for you, which is great, because then they would tell their friends. And I was just like, yes, yeah, do that. Do that. A couple of friends asked me, and they're like, oh, is it okay if I tell so-and-so? I was like, please do not ask me. Just do it. It's fine. It's fine. Feel free to tell as many people that you want. So I started doing that. When the book actually came out, I told my local library. I told a local high school near me, because I know a teacher there. I was actually able to speak to some of her students about just writing in general, and that was really cool. And so that's what I did as far as the marketing. And obviously I'm continuing to market and post things and do events and stuff like that. But that's how I helped get the word out for people to buy a book. And then obviously asking people for reviews. I do wish I didn't know this. I do wish I would have done this. I'm doing this for book 2 because I didn't think of it. But I saw this online that some authors actually in the last page of the book, or in the about the author part of the book, they literally will say, here's the link where you can leave a review if you like this book. If it's physically in the book. And I was like, I wish I would have thought of that. I was like, that would have been great, but I will do that next time.
Now, obviously you've talked about putting out a second book.
Yeah.
So, and I asked this question because it's the most important question, and some people get it, some people don't. I'm surprised how many people don't. So what does your email list look like for when you're sending out for the second book?
Oh, well, I'm still writing the second book. So are you saying what I hope it looks like, or what does it look like
Well,
now?
no. So my point is you've been collecting emails and ways to communicate with people this whole time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people have not gone that far. And I'm like, man, you're going to start from scratch on book 2. You don't have an audience to connect with. You could have had all those people that purchased book 1 that you get to message now and say, hey, book 2's out. And then you start with all those purchases before you even move on to the rest of them. So I'm curious, how much of like do you communicate with like the people on your list often? You sending out ways for them to communicate with you, ways to kind of keep in their consciousness so they don't forget about you before the next book comes out?
Yeah, so I think I most recently sent out like a thing, just finding things to send people without being annoying. But like because I don't do it like every. Some people do it every week. I don't do it every week. But the most recent thing I sent out was just like a thank you post newsletter, just being like, hey, thank you for the support. And then of course you always slide in like, if you enjoy the book, feel free to leave a review here. Like a link for that. So for me, like the newsletters I sent out, obviously I did that for like the countdown before it came out, the cover reel.
Do you ever do like contests and things like that?
I did not. I wish I would have done that, but
Well, in my head, I'm just thinking this is an excuse to send an email. Hey, free copy of book 2 when it comes out to whoever does the best YouTube video reviewing my book.
that's actually really good. I might steal that. That's actually a really good
By all
idea.
means, take at it. I got no shortage of these things here. To me, it's so much about because if nothing else, like there's good data that you get off of like what people will say about it, what they're thinking about it, what they're feeling about your book, And for every person who goes and does that, you get like just this really, really deep understanding of what it is about your books that works with your audience. So from like, I'm not sure how you write your books if you go out there, very thoughtful about what the story is going to be, or if you're one of those people that just, no, I'm going to start writing, just go where I go. But data never hurts, if nothing else, for the marketing side of things.
Yeah, no, you're right. It doesn't hurt.
Out of curiosity, what do you have a specific kind of demographic? Obviously, young adult kind of narrows you down a bit already, but is there like a particular set of people or type of young adult that you see reading your book or connecting with it?
So the demographic that I've seen read it has been probably ages like maybe 15, 16 to like early 20s. And then I've then some outliers with like people that like older than I know and stuff like that. But I would say that, and like obviously if you like the fantastical element, if you like the first love element, there's also because I love action adventure things. So like the first love is very much like a subplot. It's not like it's not it's relevant
It's
to
not
the
a
plot,
romance
but
book. It
yeah,
is
it's not
fantasy.
yeah. But I would say like teens and then like people in their early 20s, just because of like there's a fantastical element. There's like there's fighting and stuff like that. People using their powers.
Do you
Yeah.
see a skew more male or female in the people that are interested in it and connect with it yet?
I think I've seen a skew more female.